Today is Wednesday, January 29. Welcome to my daily review. Today was kind of a busy day in the markets as we had a FOMC meeting where Jerome Powell spoke. They did not raise or lower interest rates. They just paused as widely expected. And then we had some earnings reports this afternoon. Anyway, just taking a look at the Nasdaq after Monday's shellacking. It got back, more than half of it on Tuesday, and then today just kind of went, down a 0.5%, but it's still above the moving averages. Healthy day. It traded down to its 50 and bounced. Closed 0.6% above the 50 and just right at its 10 in the 21 there. So in the market, healthy overall, above the moving averages, which we like. But I got to take a look at the SPY here because the SPY is the index is doing a little better here. As you can see, it's, consolidating within a base. It's near its high. 609.07 would be, the area that it would have to take out. And it certainly could do it with, all the earnings reports that are coming in today, tomorrow, and next week. So I fully expect that. It was just an inside day today, a quiet day, which is kind of rare for when the Federal Reserve Chairman, Jerome Powell, speaks. But yeah, it was just kind of a muted day. Closed 0.8% above the 50, 0.7 above the 21. So very, healthy overall. You got to take a look at the RSP. This is the equal weight without those behemoths of the, NVIDIAs and Teslas and Microsoft and Apple and Amazons and Googles of the world. You could see it didn't have that big, that big whoosh down on Monday. It was actually up on Monday. And then the last couple of days, just kind of going flat. But overall, healthy market. I'm on green, as long as we're above the 21 there on the Nasdaq and the SPY. So anyway, I've got to get to stocks because we're interested in stocks, right? But before I do, I wanted to just go, because there's just a comparison here between the SPY. I'll just go SPY and the Nasdaq. What the heck? Or I'll go S&P. Why not? Just for the month, Friday's the last day of the month. So just see how we're faring in 2025. So I'm just going to use this comparison chart from December 31 of 2024. So this is the month of January 2025. We have two sessions left. The S&P is up 2.68%, and the Nasdaq, which is ONDQC on this, 1.67. So you could see the S&P 500 is outperforming the Nasdaq in 2025. And if you use the leveraged, which I like to do when I'm going to buy an EFT, I'll buy a leveraged EFT like on a follow through day. There's no stocks that are set up that I want to buy. I'll just buy the leverage. So the Nasdaq up 1.67, the leveraged TQQQ 3 times leverage up 3.8% in 2025. Not bad, not bad. I mean, if you just bought the TQQQ and we're up whatever 3.8%, I think you'd be pretty happy. UPRO is the leveraged SPY, which is the S&P Ultra Pro at 3 times leverage up 6.8%, which is not bad. I mean, that's not a bad month at all. So anyway, just wanted to point that out. Just just that exercise that the SPY is doing better than the Nasdaq. How about that? Just leave it at that, Marty. All right, I got to get to some earnings, because there's a lot of earnings in this new data. You can't ignore it, and I don't care if the numbers look bad or the report seems bad, or it doesn't matter what they say. It's how the stock responds. Starbucks, not really impressed with their numbers at all, but hey, I mean, it was up what, $8 today, 8% with this kind of volume. So that's a move not to be ignored there. Starbucks, new CEO saying the right things. I guess they're doing the right things, but to me, when I see that, my mind immediately goes to Dutch Bros. Like, man, if Starbucks is going to get rewarded like that, wait till Dutch Bros reports earnings. We're going to see. I think Dutch Bros is going to make new highs there. Anyway, that's just my opinion. FFIV F5 reported last night. Nice 11% move. That is definitely got to be on your gapper. If you pay attention to stuff like this as I do. We have like Twilio and FFIV. There's a few of them. I'll probably, do something on the weekend with these gappers once earnings season gets a little further along, and I've got, a dozen or so, 10 or 12 to look at. But this is definitely one of them. FFIV, nice move with earnings. NXT, this is a solar play, up 24%, gapping higher out of a stage one base. We like that. Yeah, powering out of that stage one base. Very nice. And it still has 2 days left in this 2 days left in this week. And it's already got, way above weekly volume here is up 20%. So NXT would be another one that you'd put on that gapper list, just to pay attention, right? These are the ones that can really be big movers, so you don't want to ignore them. All right, so let's go to the other end of the spectrum. This is the Fight Club or Lending Club. This guy got knocked out, 1-2 combination, down 14% today. Ooh, that hurts. ASML, not a bad report. I mean, it really bolstered the semiconductor manufacturing group, which had been, kind of wobbly recently. So that was a welcomed report. Glowworm, this is Corning, GLW, spiked up, did the old okey doke, and then reversed lower. So that kind of sucks. Open up, got some retail folks excited, and pros just sold off. Institutions not liking it. But all a company can do is deliver the goods. They had 0, 7, now 17% sales growth, 4, 20, and 46% earnings growth. And that's all a company can do. It still has that buy point there at 51. So, you know, stocks are funny, on these reactions. It could definitely just be another opportunity to buy this stock at 51. And because those are good numbers. And sometimes they just get sold for reasons unknown. Eat or Brinker, man, what a move here. I've been talking about this one for a while, and ever since the retail sales data came out from December, we knew that Christmas was barnbuster. We knew that restaurants were hot, and the restaurant business was up over 5%. I think it was close to 6%, and the other one was fragrance. So that leads me to, beauty and Elf. So I think Elf will have a good quarter as well. And also, Decker's reports tomorrow. I think they're going to have a good quarter. Retail has been ignored, and I think there's going to be some big gains in the retail space. Wall Street has been underestimating retail for far too long, and they better get their act together. I've got some other names in the retail space I'll get to a little bit later. The next one, VF Corp. This one has another okey doke fake out where it traded up, at the morning, right out of the gate, and then just sold off. This one lasted for what, a half an hour. And then all of a sudden, like, there goes the trap door. There's your air pocket, air traffic control. Where are we going? Down to the 10. So we'll see if that finds support there. What other ones do we have? My God, TMUS. That's right. When you see AT&T doing well and Verizon, you got to figure these guys are taking share from them. They're smaller, they're leaner, and they're meaner. And wow, it's got a market cap of 272 billion now. They bought Sprint, and you just can't ignore this kind of a move here. This is in a nice base here, still consolidating within a base, but a nice move for T-Mobile on their earnings report this morning, and a couple others. I'm going to go good first and then the bad. This is LRN. This is an education stock up, nearly 6% with volume. And then the bummer of the day, man, Manhattan Associates. This is a software name. This is what kind of hurt the software group today, and had a lot of people saying what's wrong with, Twilio, and what's wrong with Datadog, and what's wrong with AppLovin and Snowflake. CrowdStrike, well, software was just out of favor after a couple strong days, and this didn't help. And I don't know, maybe we'll have some good news after hours or not. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, since I mentioned software, I've got to go to some of the software names that I like. I put this one on the ready list. I know it had a big move on Tuesday, a little extended, but I want this on the radar. And it just had an inside day today. Nice quiet day as the moving averages catch up. Let that thing come back into that 210 area, 211 area, and allow the moving averages to catch up. So GoDaddy is a stock that I really like. And if it's going to be near a buy point, I'm going to put that thing on my ready list. I think it's got model book potential. And this is CrowdStrike. I mentioned this one earlier. It just came back to give, it moved yesterday, obviously, out of this box, right? Big breakout. Okay. But it came back today to that 389 level. And sometimes stocks will give you like, a second chance, a second swing. Like if you fouled the first pitch off, you still have a couple more strikes here. And CrowdStrike under 400, I kind of like that. Anyway, it returned to its pivot point, and it's back in the box. Anyway, Twilio, I mentioned Twilio. Really like the looks of this one. Had a big gap up on they raised guidance. Yeah, it was inside today, just a quiet day, allowing the moving averages to catch up. But you could see this big, powerful move after they raised guidance last week and did not breach that 133.51, which is the low from that gap day, which is what I watch. If it fell below that, it would be adios, muchachos. But it's hanging in there, above 140 looks good for Twilio. What are the ones? Oh, App 11. I'm liking the looks of App 11 right now. The 362 area. They're going to report here, what, on the 12th? Yeah, so just not that far away. So App 11 had this big move, consolidating, digesting gains nicely. This kind of run up here. From here, I would say this 300, a little bit above 300 level. This move here up to 417 was kind of like a front running the S&P inclusion. Didn't get it, and it just came right back down to 308. So maybe it'll get included in the S&P and it'll be worth 100 points next time. We just got to wait and see. But App 11, I do like the looks of this chart here. Not going to put it on the ready list just yet, though. I'm going to give it some time, and I think it has some time. And then Roblox. Roblox made a new high today. I don't talk about Roblox enough. Man, this thing is just a beast. Kelly Slater stock just surfing the moving averages, kind of like Brinker, right? Just the only time you can get it is when it pulls back, which is rarely. So anyway, that's it for the software names. I mentioned those since I mentioned Brinker. Yeah, eat impossible to buy here. You just maybe when it comes back, pulls back to that 21. That's one day maybe it'll come back and then go up and then come back. So that's your chance. But 16% move today. So it is on our gapper list, even though it didn't gap out of a base. It hasn't based for a long time, but 16% move with that kind of volume is not going to be ignored. Dan, CAVA is another one that, I've been watching this since the August 23rd low of 110. I brought that up many, many times, and it kind of retested it a couple times here, retested it here, and it even got below it, but then couldn't push it lower. And then what happened? Yeah, now today it rallied back above its 50. I like the looks of that one above the 135 there. That's a nice little base for, I'm going to pretend this didn't happen. We're just going to erase this little line here. This did not happen. And this is just your base here. Okay, so looks pretty darn good. Little pullback to the moving average, now blast higher today. That looks pretty damn good to me. At the 135 level, right there out of the box. So Cava looks good. I got to mention the Cheesecake Factory with their 33-page menu. Looks like the Declaration of Independence. Uh, anyway, at 52.10, got that buy area, and it's just taken off. This is not going to give you much of a chance to get in. I mean, there's your consolidation pattern, and now it's breaking out. So, if you didn't get it, the train's leaving the station, folks. These retail restaurant stocks have been hot. They've been delivering good earnings. They deserve what they're getting right now. It's been a long time coming, I would say, though, for a lot of the retail names, and still some of them are just way undervalued, in my opinion. They're doing a lot better than Wall Street's giving them credit for, because Wall Street's always expecting the consumer to slow down, and they never do. Here's Darden there at that 189 level, broke out on Monday, while the rest of the Nasdaq was puking all over itself. This thing's marching to the beat of its own drum, looking very nice. Darden Restaurant. This is Olive Garden. They acquired Chewy's. Yeah, Olive Garden. Yeah, looks freaking fantastic. Base, run up, base, run up, base. starting another run up. So that's what you want to see in winning stocks. You don't want to see them break down, 30% and look something like this. Ugh, stab me. All right. Sorry I did that to you folks. That was just for effect. All right. Another one, the one that I like, I mentioned earlier is Bros. If Starbucks is getting rewarded for those types of quarters, I'm thoroughly convinced that Bros is going to knock the cover off the ball. I don't know if how the market's going to respond, but when they report earnings on the 19th of February, I'm expecting strong earnings. I'm expecting new highs. We'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, you could say I have an alert there at 62. It triggered the alert today just for a minute though. It went up and then pulled back, with Powell speaking. There you go. There's your move above 62. And with Powell speaking, it's just, kind of a cautious day with these big tech earnings too, which I'm going to get to here in a minute. Okay, I'm going to go from the retail restaurant to just kind of the retail internet. Retail, this is SE. I put this one on the ready list. It was up 2% today. Nice move. Did I buy it? No, but I still like it here. At 120. That still looks like a good stock to me. Actionable stock. Shark Ninja looks like an actionable stock. I like this trading tight here within its base. Earnings are on the 13th. Beware, my friends, beware of those earnings dates. DoorDash, this is a food internet stock. I guess you'd call it, what is it, retail internet? Yeah. Get on your phone, order DoorDash, have it at your door. Anyway, that 181 area looks good, man. This thing is just a strong looking stock. Some days at night I'll gander at the weekly chart, just a thing of beauty here. It just wants to go higher. It looks like to me it just wants to go higher. So pretty easy hold right here. Pull back to the 50th of the first time since the breakout from the base, found support, and now moving higher. Just longer term, I just think that business model works well with this, current generation of their dining patterns. How about that? Trying to be politically correct here. All right, this is on holdings breaking out of a base. I had this one on the ready list as well, trading tight within a base. Now, the last couple of days here on Monday, it pulled back to the 10, found support, had a nice bounce on Tuesday and followed through today with a 1.42% move. Yeah, it was up 3.7%. So a nice week for on holdings. I'm going to leave this one on. I mean, Decker's reports tomorrow after the bell. This stock will be impacted by what Deckers has to say. I think it's going to be good. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing go from 60, let's call it a 20% move. I don't know, maybe 72, maybe 70, 72 before we start, taking some off here. Anyway, that's the way we do it. I mentioned Deckers and another chart that looks fantastic. You got to go to the weekly here. Yeah, it had this cup with handle, broke out and had this 3 weeks tight area, or was that 4 weeks tight? Looks like 4 weeks tight. It says profit. Nah, get out of here with your profit. Um, yeah, cup with handle. Okay, 22 weeks length, blah, blah, blah. That was a 4 weeks tight pattern. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. And now moving higher. Um, you know, I just got to believe they're going to report a strong quarter. I don't know how the stock's going to react. It's 4% above its 21. So a pullback to the 21 wouldn't surprise me on a good report. Obviously, if they wet the bed, then then all bets are off. But if they report a strong quarter, as I suspect, a pullback to a moving average might be an area to add, maybe 210 or even 214 here if it wants to do that. Anyway, lazy boy. Got your lazy boy, you got your recliner, you're watching your Netflix, you're watching your Landman or your Ted Lasso. Lazy boy made a new high today. That's why I pointed that out. Trying to break out of a base here. So lazy boy looks good. Believe it or not, retail home furnishings, one of the top groups here. So don't ignore these. Williams Sonoma, another one that I donate a lot of money to. Should be a charity tax write-off. Broke out of the base and just running higher. Like, this is like a Kelly Slater stock too, man. Just wants higher prices. Look at this. Pulls back to the 21, finds support. Pulls back to the 21, finds support. Just, you know, since the breakout, this is, kind of the pattern, right? All right. I'm going to move on. I'm going to finally relieve you of the retail stuff. A couple of financial names that I like, Raymond James here, nice pullback on Monday and trying to break out of a base here. If you like that kind of thing, it could, end up on a ready list. Same with Morgan Stanley. Pulled back on Monday, gave us a chance to get in there at the 10, and it's got that 138.24 buy point. So it's 136.24, excuse me. And that looks very close there. So a couple stocks, in the financials. I try to be shotgun approach, a little construction, little finance, little retail. You can't just be all tech because they're selling tech. Tech is being sold now. So until these earnings reports come in, and then money might start flowing back into them. But anyway, I have to get to the boomer. I got to go to my boomer trade. Can't be a day without the boomer trade. Sky worst. Yeah, they made a new high today. Looks pretty good there. This is Alaska. Jeez, this thing is just ripping. Yeah, just pull back to the 10, thank you, and then take $200 and pass go and stay out of jail and keep going higher, Alaska. All right, that looks good. And then United Airlines. This is one that I could put on the ready list as well. It's got that 105, and then it pulled back to the 91. Came back earlier this week to the 21, missed it today. I think, yesterday or today would have been a good time to buy this, but still not, not totally, extended here, 2% above its 10. So I kind of like that one. It could appear on our Reddit list pretty soon. They like to, give some diversification, some, broader offerings here and not just tech and software. All right. And retail restaurant. What else in my boomer trade do I have besides, you're booking flights? You're also booking, cruises on the Royal Caribbean group. This one gapped higher yesterday. I think this one belongs on our gap list, up 12% with, 300% above your average volume there. So RCL is another one that's going to go on my list. Um, Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings, booking on this cup with handle. This should be on the ready list as well. There, 2813 standard is right there. Looks pretty good. I just like the group. Viking pulled back on the RCL numbers yesterday to the 20, to the 50, which was a golden opportunity as it it tried to close that gap there 45.53, didn't quite do it, did it? 45.68. Nah, that wouldn't stop me. Anyway, it's over 50 now. So if you didn't get it at 45, you just lost out on a 10% move on Viking. All right, that's it. Except for I lied. I do have one more thing. I like a couple of these biotech stocks. CRT. I know people aren't interested in these because they're too risky, but these two, TGTX and Core, these guys have earnings. These are not fly-by-night speculative. I think they're going to deliver a solid earnings growth. And I've mentioned this one for, I don't know, not a couple weeks now, but ever since it broke above that downtrend line, it's just been having some nice days here. Today it pulled back, some pullback like 8 cents. But anyway, TGTX going to report pretty soon. I would not be surprised to see a little short squeeze in this one. Take out the 36.84. Heck, let's make it 36. Let's make it for I would say between 40 45. Why not? Um, the XBI, the biotech group has not been doing well. RFK was HHS, he's getting grilled and he's kind of a wild card. So there's a lot of hesitancy, and you can see it in the chart here. This thing cannot get above its moving averages. I think once, that situation is resolved, I think the biotechs will do a little better, and then I'll start showing more biotechs. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up. Suffer and honor the great Steve Jobs. I have to get to a couple of, I know people are really interested in a couple of earnings report, especially stocks like United Rentals, which is down 2% on, they missed actually on the top and bottom line. And a company that didn't miss was CLS, up 15%. Took the whack on Monday with the data center power play. But I was looking at their earnings report, and their sales growth was 19%, which is, it's gone from 23 to 22 and now 19. And their Earnings growth was 31, so it's gone from 83 to 60, now 31. I'm a little, those numbers, they concern me a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to stay away from this one just because of that bad break. And I know it's back up to 116 after hours and they beat expectations. It's just, I think you could do better elsewhere. It just, that kind of stuff scares me. I'm just kidding. I'm going to get to the stuff that you guys really want to see. And this is Meta Platforms up $31 after hours. They kind of crushed it. The Q1, guidance was just kind of in line. So I kind of held it up at the beginning, but these guys are killing it. And you got to hear Zuckerberg on the conference call because he's a sweet talker. He's going to tell them what they want to hear. And this is good for, I'd mentioned earlier the U Pro, if you're in this leverage thing, yeah, up after hours on that news. And the other one that reported tonight is Tesla. This one, it was down a little bit, now up a little bit, 3%, not bad, right there at 400. They missed pretty badly on their sales and on their earnings, but they're talking about, the future. And that's kind of what I was saying earlier is like the EV space is kind of saturated. So whoever wants an EV's got one. Whoever wants a Tesla's got one. So their story is with robots, FSD going forward, energy, power. So I'm sure Musk is sweet talking him on the conference call as well. Microsoft, they beat on the top and bottom line, but was down because Azure revenue growth was 31%. I think it was in line. I don't know. It's an expensive stock, and you can see in the chart here, it's just investors are, stalling here at this, 450 level. So yeah, Microsoft, I don't know. IBM, this is Big Blue. I have a sweet spot in my heart for Big Blue, just because it was the first stock that my dad bought me. That and Chevron, Standard Oil, Cal. But anyway, up nearly 10% after hours. This is one to watch tomorrow, up $21. They crushed it. So thank you, IBM. Lam Research, another one doing well after hours. This is in the semiconductor space, up nearly 6%. We'll take it. I mean, we want these good reactions after hours. And anyway, tomorrow morning we get MasterCard, which is going to have, more color on consumer, spending patterns through January. I'm sure they'll be asked, about the Christmas. We know about Christmas, but January as well. Caterpillar reports tomorrow morning. Obviously, the industrials, that chart looks pretty good here. Looks really good, actually. Kind of like that trading tight within the base. Maybe Caterpillar gets over 400 tomorrow, 420. And then UPS, they deliver. They're going to report tomorrow. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up.